Well, we just are joined by Michael O'Neill, who just came off the stage at Social Media Day Denver. How are you feeling about today and your talk?
Oh, I loved it. It was I crammed a 6.5-hour training into 30 minutes.
That is impressive. Well, and I did catch some points of your talk, too. We're actually somewhat demonstrating this now because I'm interviewing you.
It's true.
Your topic today was the art of the interview. What's something you see people do wrong routinely?
They plug their guests incorrectly almost universally, meaning that they'll plug their guests. They do two things wrong with it. Number one, they'll say something like, tell people how they can find you, which is terrible. It's your job. You're the host to tell people how they can find your guest. Two, at the very end of the show. And in my completely unscientific research, I say that less than 15% of the people ever make it to the end of a podcast. Yet, that's where most podcasters and live streamers promote their guests.
Well, let's take a moment right now then. We can find Michael O'Neill at Solo Hour everywhere. Is that correct?
Yeah, solohour.com, at Solo Hour on the Twitters and the Instagrams, and everywhere else, yeah.
See how I did that and actually knew what his handle was?
Rachel's a pro.
So now he can't say anything bad about me. Though I did transparently tell someone off camera, I'm like, if he can critique me at the end of this, I'll take it. Because we all want to get better, right?
For sure, yeah. And I'm not like the world's best podcaster, by the way, but it is something that I actively work on. It's a skill that needs to be developed, and I think a lot of people don't treat it as such. They don't treat it as like, I am the host of a broadcast, which is where people need to think of whether Instagram Live, a Facebook Live, or a podcast. You're in media. Guess what? Like, you're now a broadcaster. You're a prodcaster, as I like to call it.
I love the broadcasters they do. And I know I do this sometimes where you tell your guest that, hey, we're going to have a conversation, but you know you're putting on a professional broadcast and you're going to take care of all the details to make sure they're comfortable, but that it appears professional.
Yeah, and you want them to feel like they were lucky to be. You want them to feel like it was so good that they want to share it with their audience because it's the best representation of who they are and who their business is. That's when we do a good job, that's what happens.
Let me ask you, I'm going to flip the tables a little bit because obviously some people host a show, but then sometimes you're asked to be a guest on a show. What's the best way to be a guest when you're asked to be a guest on a show?
You mean as a guest, how to be a good guest? Hi, Erin.
Well, one thing, you might get video bombed.
So, you might get video bombed.
This is the woman, the myth, the legend, Erin Sell, who ran this whole event. It's amazing. You put a bunch of amazing people here. Well done. I know you should be very proud.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
We're almost to the end, too.
Yep.
It's almost done, but we're actually going to bring this lady on camera with us a little bit later today, and I'm very excited to just hear how she feels the whole thing went. I bet she's going to like it.
I am. Happy.
I got to say that it's so rare for an event to run. You're always an hour and a half behind, but this one has not. To answer your question, as a guest, think about answering the question in stories. It's the best way to do that. Yeah. And you can there's always a methodology. Like when I interviewed Jack Canfield, I always like to say I could flick him a grain of rice and I would get back jambalaya because he would just have this, oh, well, God, that's a great story. When I was in the blah, 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 and he would just tell this thing and it would completely illustrate the point I was trying to make, but he would do it in this beautiful, effusive, storytelling way. And I'm, myself and be like, yeah, this is so good. Good pod,
Well, and knowing that you can mute yourself and do the happy dance in the background without anyone seeing is key.
It is. That's why you have a mixer with a mute key. That matters.
That's right. And tools are half the battle, or at least part of the battle, too. Let me ask you one other thing, too. When it comes to hosting a show and then also, again, being a guest, do you say yes to every opportunity, or do you need to be a little bit discriminating as far as like where you let yourself be broadcast, host, or guest?
I personally say yes to everybody because it's not that hard to do somebody else's show and tell your own stories. I imagine there's a level in which you kind of go, but I will say that there are people that I hear about in Hollywood that, I might hear a story of, and someone goes, that guy's so approachable. There's no Hollywood in him. He's just like Jay Leno is a guy that people talk about. You can literally just be like, hey, Jay, I've got my my nephew here with me. Can we go check out the garage? Oh, yeah, blah, blah. You're not calling and then getting his people, which talks us to an agent and a manager, and then scheduling a thing. And I do feel like it's a little rampant in our marketing world. We're like, are you going to have to talk to my VA? And, I'm booked until November. And I'm like, I don't want to talk to you then anymore. Like, it sort of took it away from me. So I don't think, I think there is an element of being sort of too busy and a little too self-important.
Gotcha. No, that totally makes sense. Let me bring us to a close with this. I want to ask, do you have...
About that.
I'm sad too, but man, like you said, clockwork. We're trying to keep it on task today. We've got to get going.
More video bombs.
More video bombs.
I'm like the bad penny. It keeps turning up.
Are you going to shush? Are you going to shush?
I'm not sure if that means... Wait, I can't talk anymore.
That you were brilliant? Or that I'm a bad penny that keeps
You
turning
shushed me. I can't talk anymore.
Shush.
Yeah.
It's the power of the shush.
Anyway, what?
The Joel shush.
What's the question?
What do you have on the horizon? What can you share with us that you are excited about that's coming?
My thing right now, and really for the rest of the year, is I've made my living with podcasting now for 4 years, and I mean a real legit living, like a friggin' tax bracket. I love the industry, and I want everybody to get better at it so that when someone turns their channel from NPR or Howard Stern in the morning and turns it onto a podcast, that it's not completely janky, and they go, oh, this is what podcasting is? No, thanks. I want it to grow and be bigger because I currently like it. I like making a living from it. It's great. So I have a course. It's called The Art of the Interview.
Nice.
Is it okay if I say where that is?
I hope you do. Please do.
It's artoftheinterview.co. And then it'll teach you. It'll teach you how to be better at all this stuff. And that's what I'm promoting.
Well, excellent. Thank you for sharing that with us today. You looking forward to the evening and social media shenanigans tonight?
I'm going to change. I'm going to get into my interview outfit. I'm going to bring my portable rig, and I'm going to grab some shows.
I might now see. I will get to flip the tables and get on my social media accounts, and I'll be sharing that. So you guys, stay tuned. We got a few more interviews on the way, even more tonight. Michael O'Neill, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Rachel.
Bye, guys. We're going to talk to you later. I'm going to